What historians, and particularly economic historians, talk about is this idea of the leading sector. How do you think about this transformation? How is it not just that smooth, inevitable-looking curve? And what the idea they use is this idea of the leading sector, that there's one particular area of the economy that is so profitable, that it pulls, and so big, that it pulls everything else in its wake, bringing about new opportunities for growth, new jobs, wage growth, everything. And first, in the pre-industrial capitalism of the 18th century, you have cotton, sugar, and shipping, then industrial capitalism, wheat, railroad, steel, and then in the 20th century, cars and chemistry, aerospace, and electronics. This shouldn't be that hard. This isn't a crazy idea. This is what we see every day. I mean, after all, how many of you have BlackBerries? So retro. Did you come here in a fixie? I bet you did, yeah. So the idea, so I think that this is a basic idea, that when a product comes out, there's tremendous opportunities for profits. It grows over time, and then as it becomes a mature industry, it falls. And this isn't true just of particular products like BlackBerries, but entire industries. So over time, the technology becomes well known, and it becomes a commodity industry. This is just normal ways of thinking. Now, these leading sectors are very important because, first of all, I think it should be obvious that aerospace is not obvious. That most of us cannot just walk outside and be like, oh, let's build a plane. Cool. It's actually super hard. It's very hard to build a railroad. It's very hard to imagine an industry as complicated as the electronics industry. And so this transformation is not obvious, what that next leading sector will be. And yet, so far, we have been able to figure out what it is, finding that new industry that allows us to bootstrap ourselves into the next level of growth. But finding that next sector has not been obvious in the past, as it was not in the 1930s, as it was not in the Great Depression. When there's a failure to find that new leading sector, when capital does not find its way into a sector that can pull along millions and millions and billions of people, we have a depression. When capital can't find that place to earn that profit, we have a depression. And that's what happened in the 1930s. If you look closely at the industries of the 1930s, after the initial crisis, the crash of the stock market in 1929, followed by a crash in the housing market a couple years later, all the cutting-edge industries, like electronics and aerospace, they were fine within 6 months. But they were this big. They were this big. More people in the US worked in candy manufacturing than in airplanes in the 1930s. And all the big places where we invested all our capital, all our biggest employers, like cars, just wasted away. This stagnation was a crisis of the failure of capital to get into these new industries. Where is capital in America? In the 1930s, it was in banks. And capitalists like Amedeo Giannini, the founder of Bank of America, I want you to notice that he is not skiing. He is not smiling. He's a very nervous Italian guy. He does not know what to do with all his money. This is a letter. More than any graph, I think, reveals this anxiety. This is a letter from the Citibank Archives between the head of Citibank, then known as National Citibank, and the Bank of America. My dear AP, I want to give you a short report of conditions here and put before you the Citi company situation. Our excess reserves are very big. It's almost impossible to find any use for money in credits that we're willing to take, and the rates are terribly low. Too much capital, nowhere to put it, even though millions are out of work. And these new industries that we now know are great investments, or that are capable of producing millions of jobs, don't have capital to grow. I want you to think about that.